The country of Zimbabwe contains many different cultures and ethnic groups reflecting the diverse population of the country. The two major ethnic groups are the Shona and the Ndebele. Music plays a critical role in society in this culture. Songs are used to accompany social activities such as lullabies, game songs, rites of passage, work songs, war songs, funeral dirges, and are known to follow the life cycle of a human being. The mabira is the most famous instrument of Zimbabwe music. It is a handheld mellophone used in religious and secular activities. It is known for its ability to communicate with ancestral spirits. Percussive instruments are very common in traditional music of Zimbabwe. The drums, known as either the ngoma or the ingungu, are among these percussive instruments. Others include the hosho, the magaga, the magavu, and the amalaya. Unfortunately, many traditional Zimbabwe instruments are becoming scarce. Most dances are religious or spiritual dances, as they are used to show traditional beliefs in ancestors. Music is important in religion, as Catholic and Protestant churches of Zimbabwe use the ngoma, hosho, kwamanda, which are horns, and the pempa, which is a whistle, in the songs of worship. In Zimbabwe, traditional music faces an unhealthy future as people have been known to shun traditional music and promote Western-influenced contemporary music. The government does nothing to help this deterioration of traditional music. Music has been used to express thoughts against contemporary socio-political challenges. Changes among the local political economy of African societies seem to have influenced the specialization of cultural performance. Urbanization led to the people having to adapt to the new economy because of influences from Asia, Europe, and North America. This urbanization occurred because of the attempt to bring Zimbabwe into the capitalist system of the world. Because of these adaptations, music focused on the struggles to maintain traditional ways of life during these times of change. In pre-colonial times, music was a part of all aspects of life for the people of Zimbabwe. This music reflected the values and attitudes they had. Many songs focused on the activities people did in their everyday lives. The mabira was held as a symbol of the Shona way of life. Following the War of Liberation, music in Zimbabwe took on new significance. During colonialization, women were essential in urban music development as performers and supporters because they weren't allowed to hold real jobs, and they had to find other sources of income. Street performers became more prevalent because of the growing unemployment rate. Even today in Zimbabwe, historical events are still affecting all aspects of arts. Economic influences seem to be one of the largest outside influences on the music of Zimbabwe. There was an ongoing economic struggle between Europeans and Africans that seemed to have the largest influence on the changing styles of music. Starting around the 19th century, the creation of new products and media had a large effect on the growth of more modern and popular music. The invention of the radio is what caused the creation of the Zarian Rumba in Zimbabwe. Traveling music groups from other countries began to arrive in Zimbabwe that influenced the sound of music here. In the 1960s and 70s, influences from Europe, America, and the Caribbean brought ideas from blues, rock, disco, country, reggae, and many others to this African country. The new government used music and politics to aid in the reconstruction of African values and an economy to attempt to increase income. Bob Marley was a major impact on the status of popular music when he toured along with many other foreign groups. This also caused competition between local performers and those who came to tour in Zimbabwe, ultimately taking listeners from the locals and therefore taking income. There is no music without dance. The three main purposes of dance in the culture of Zimbabwe are religious, social, and ceremonial. They use dance to teach values, recite history, encourage, funerals and festivals, and to connect with ancestors. These dances are polyrhythmic that use a variety of Zimbabwean instruments. Costumes are used that are made from grass or animal skins. Traditional dance is taught in schools and is very participatory, meaning anyone can join in unless it is a religious or funeral ceremony. One example of dance is the mabira dance, which is accompanied by the mabira to bring spirits of ancestors into the midst of the community. There are many dance events that are held to remind people of the traditional dances and music of Zimbabwe. Among these events are the Chibuku Neshamwari Traditional Dance Festival. This is a dance competition between groups that tests the skills involved in traditional dances. Another popular event in this culture is the rain-making ceremony known as the Injalele. This ceremony is performed in a time of drought to try and bring rain. It involves the use of a unique dance which contains rhythm, style, and powerful stomping. This is a traditional Zimbabwe group of 9 members that was created in 2004. They perform to restore values, culture, and heritage. They perform music that is known as Skunga music. Their main goal is to bring people back to their traditional Zimbabwean roots. This is another traditional Zimbabwean performer who grew up with a very musical family. She used the mabira, which her dad taught her to play despite women traditionally not being allowed to play it. During her musical career, she taught at the University of Washington for decades. Here we hear part of her song titled Ancient Voices.
And Pasipamire was changed, and then the spirit came. Chaminuka was his name, and everywhere there was jubilation, a leader had been found, chosen by the ancestors.
Thomas Mapfuma called his music Chimurenga, which means struggle in Shona, and was also the name of revolutionary movement in their history. In the past, his music tested government and used words that called for revolution. Currently, he's a part of a group called Blacks Unlimited. They live in the United States and are still touring. Mapfuma still sings about Zimbabwean problems. Ja Preza is a Zimbabwean soldier who plays mabira music fused with modern music. His first album was called Sugano Yirudu. His music is in the reggae genre. Influences from the United States and Europe in the 1950s caused some Zimbabweans to stop using traditional instruments, and they used instruments that were popular in the United States and Britain, such as the guitar, banjo, and harmonica. Or some artists, such as Thomas Matfumo, fused the two to make a different sound. Different combinations of fusions have created groups and other popular artists.